Don't put utilities in your kids' names and then don't pay them. Good morning. I'm having my morning tea. This morning I'm having my English breakfast tea with a splash of sweet Italian creamer. And it is delicious. How are you this morning? I had a few things on my mind, and one of those is financial well-being. How much are we telling our kids about how we manage our money? How a checking account is a really good tool to establishing how you treat money, how you use your money, and how you save your money for the future. I worked as a teller in a credit union for a couple of years, and I have seen some very interesting ways that people have used their money, saved their money, how they spend their money, and some things are very interesting. There was a gentleman that came in with his son, and every payday he would get a roll of quarters. And he said, this is money that we're saving towards our family trip to Disneyland. And I was like, wow, okay, so you've been doing this for a while. I asked his son, I jokingly called his son his accountant, because I feel like kids usually take your money and spend it as they see fit. So, they always feel like they can tell you, well, just use your credit card. You've got money, just use your credit card. But this gentleman said that they had been saving that, so his wife would get a roll of quarters, and so they have this big jar that they put all their quarters in. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna go this summer. And I thought, wow, that's great, and so he didn't say how much he'd save, but I'm thinking plane tickets for a family of 4 to go to Disney World, Disneyland, I don't remember which, but that might be a pretty penny. So I was like, that's great, because he said the reason they get quarters is because it's much easier to spend a $10 bill than a roll of quarters. I was like, that is true. 40 quarters versus a $10 bill? Yeah, that makes sense. And actually, I did that for a while myself, and I was able to save $100 real quick, and I changed that in at some point and used it for something that our kids needed. But it was a quick $100 that I was like, I didn't even realize I had this just sitting here. So I've learned a lot of very good things from working at the credit union. But one very important thing, I think, is that we need to teach our kids why we are using checking accounts. We're using them to pay our bills because you have a credit card or a debit card attached to your checking account. So you use that to go online to pay your utilities, pay your phone bill, pay your car note, whatever the case is. There are reasons why we as adults use our credit or use our banking tools. So our kids need to understand that. I was actually hurt by this one instance where a young lady came in. She was beautiful, had her hair, nails, makeup, just perfect, very polished, very professional. And then she opened her mouth. I want to put some money on this card. So she's a couple tellers down, and she's raised her voice, and I'm thinking, okay, you got my attention. What's going on? She proceeds to get upset with the teller because the teller asked her if she had her checking account number. And she proceeded to call her out of her name and say, the number on this card is the only number I need. I need you to put money on this card. Essentially, she was trying to explain to her that the debit card is a tool that you are able to access your money from the bank, but that's not the number on the account. So for us to add money to your card, as you call it, we need to know a checking account number. She pitched a fit. I'm like, oh my God. So this young lady needs to learn the lingo. So your debit card number is not your checking account number. And there's a very good reason for that. Because you can walk up to a Walmart or in a department store or a gas station and hand them your debit card. They swipe it, or you swipe it. Do you want to be walking around with personal information like that? No. That long number on that card is coded to your checking account. So a computer can read it, scan it, translate it, so that they know that your checking account is attached to that card, and funds can be released from that card because it's come from your consent. I was disappointed with my young sister, because I'm like, okay, take a minute and understand. You are in a banking institution. You clearly have the debit card from this institution, and you were telling someone that works for this institution, someone that has been trained by this institution, that she doesn't know what she's talking about, and you want to put money on a card, but she doesn't understand the simple thing you're saying. Y'all, we gotta do better, okay? We can understand how SNAP benefits. We can understand a whole bunch of stuff. Well, we can't understand how a bank account works. Come on now. We can pull tip books. We can go to the Peace Shake House, but we can't figure out a bank account. We need to do better. We are going to do better, okay? So we're going to improve our financial well-being. Join a credit union or a bank so that you can learn some of these things, so that when life surprises come up, you are not blindsided to the point where it affects your livelihood, okay? So please, let's do better. One last thing. This is a public service announcement. All right, y'all. Okay, we cool. We can talk, right? Don't put utilities in your kids' names and then don't pay them. I said, don't put your light bill in your child's name. Yes, that baby is 2 years old, but the fact that you're putting it in the child's name, okay, there could be a reason for anything. But when that child turns 18 and maybe they want to open a bank account, they have a 16-year-old collection on their account that's linked to their social security number and their name, because a parent decided that they weren't going to pay a utility company an outstanding bill. Y'all don't do that. Because I wanted to cry when this bright, hopeful, optimistic young man came into the branch, wanted to open an account, knew exactly what he needed, had his social security card, ID, piece of mail with his address on it. He was ready to go. Started processing the paperwork, and they said, we're sorry, we can't offer you a checking account until you get this collection cleared up. The young man was blindsided. He said, I've never had any utility in my name. What are you talking about? They provided him with the number to call, and he found out that a parent had put a utility in his name when he was very young and had not paid the bill. Let's not handicap our babies, y'all. Let's use the system to work for us, okay? For our financial well-being. We need to teach our kids. If you're an adult and you don't know yet, honey, learn with the child. Learn with them. Working together works. Learning together works. Y'all, we can do this. Okay. That is the end of my long public service announcement. But until the next time, take care of you.